기지로 떠납니다.
Don't bring forgiveness, and I'm gonna hunt you down.
Here we are in game number 2 of this set. Down in the bottom right in the purple, the Terran player up a very quick game here. It is Byun.
And up to the top left, he's had a rough day so far. We'll see if he can survive this loser's match. It is Rogue, 0-3 currently in Group A. You can see it in his face, he's not happy, and we've talked about this a lot with Rogue. Momentum, if it's taken away from him, he often really falls apart. But I want to talk a little bit more about that last game, because really, he didn't see the push coming. He's not committing as much to scouting as players like Dark are, you know, with the Overlord, Speed Overlords checking every so often, Overseers coming in, you know, going to the mid game. He didn't know it was coming. Byun executed it well. His Queen's a little bit out of position, but Byun has killed countless players with this push in the past. Even back in Season 1 of Star League, he killed Sue with this, as in Legacy of the Void, everyone was kind of moving away from early banelings, moving towards mass Queens. To defend a push like this with Hellbats, you need banelings. The Queens could have bought more time if he had transfused a little bit better, if he had the more high-energy Queens at the back. And just a few tiny little, I mean, almost minuscule choices and mistakes from Rogue allows this very well-executed, very powerful push to roll him over.
Yeah,
and he's on his last life in this tournament now.
It was really about the Hellbats, as you were saying. He just didn't see those coming. Like, he very nicely scouted the 2 medevacs coming in, and he's like, oh, okay, I know exactly what this is. He had the Overlord speed, he scouted the main, he's like, okay. Didn't see the armory, didn't see the Hellions, and then once he saw the Hellbats, he freaked out. He just started running away, lost Queen by Queen, and against that kind of push, if you lose literally anything, you're just going to get bowled over, and that's what happened. It was kind of sad to see, but hopefully he can prepare a little bit better this time around. I wouldn't be surprised if Byun just goes for the same build. Yeah, I mean, this is the start of it.
Yeah, I mean, for Byun, this opening with the 2 barracks, the double medevac push with Stim, is kind of his go-to standardized push on any map. He'll do it on Frost, he'll do it here, Frozen Temple, whatever map you give him, he'd probably do it on Dasan Station, okay? I mean, he's so good at it, he's so comfortable with it, and I think to him, this is not, you know, sometimes you could do like a proxy opening and be like, okay, you pulled that out in one best of 5. Other Terrans take this build, not every Terran, but a lot of Terrans take this build as you do it once in a best of 5. Byun does it almost every game. Like, it is his go-to, and he's so good at it. And it's terrifying to play against a player who can play a style like this so well. It's like when some of the other players like Innovation, before he started failing with it, and Gumiho were doing these Cyclone builds every game. Even though it was kind of a choose it once in a best of 5 type build, they were so good at it, they did it sometimes every game in a series.
Cyclone builds are even further back, the Pull the Boys builds, you know, on 2 base, where you just try to kill the Protoss third. And he would just do it literally every game. And even though the Protosses knew it was coming, there was only a couple of Protosses that began to figure out how to hold it off. Guys like Zest, guys like Stats even. I remember that one game, Stats versus Innovation. Innovation, like, his program broke, and he literally went in a circle in the middle of the map like 4 times because Stats built cannons, and he just, you know, held off the push.
Right.
But, yeah, I mean, it's very, very scary. It seems like some players have figured it out. Guys like Dark begin to just play very safe against it. They're like, okay, I just need a Baneling Nest. Or actually, Dark even going with Roaches some of the times, you know, just to make sure that he just doesn't die. Especially with a guy like Dark, who is so confident in late game ZVT, and even said in the interview that you kind of have to accept your losses early on against Terran, because you're going to be a lot stronger later on in the game once you get those Ultralisks out. And it really speaks to the style that Dark plays, and I feel like Rogue needs to kind of take a page out of that book. They've played similar styles in the past, the Ling Bane style against Protoss, the Baneling drop style, but now I feel like he's got to say, okay, I need to take a step back and rethink this matchup and play it a bit safer, make a Baneling Nest early, do something different to try to hold this and just hold on to these games.
Sure. I really do feel kind of the Roach style is very powerful. It's tougher to transition with, but you just don't die, and I think that's why we saw it from Dark so often. Roaches are powerful against Marines that have used Stim already and are off their Stim and have less hit points, especially Marines without combat shields, which is how this build works.
Yeah, the Queen's focused on the medevacs, so it makes it a lot harder to hold off.
Oh, this time he's, he really has to pick up here. He does not want to be donating Marines here. Already this push significantly weakened. And Rogue with his heavy commitment to the defense this time and a large commitment to Lings, engaging before the Queens even had to be involved, makes this a lot easier. Now he's just going to try to poke at that medevac as much as he can, force Byun to retreat. This Spore Crawler makes it tougher to bounce between this location and the natural. Yeah. And Byun will have to make his transition. He already got his E-base, he's going into 1-1, but Rogue has his 1-1 faster. And he did all of this without a Baneling Nest just because he hit this drop so hard and countered it so hard from its outset.
And I get the mindset that he was using in game number 1 where he's like, no, I don't need a Baneling Nest that early because I can just hold this off as long as it's Marines. He's very active with his Lings out on the map. He tries to get underneath the medevacs so that the medevacs are forced to drop on top of the Lings or not drop at all. So it really delays the push. And then if he ever tries to push in, you focus down the medevacs with your Queens. And this time it worked out. So let's see if he can hold on here, though.
Okay, I mean, this is a lot of Marines this time, though. Spore Crawler doing some extra work. I really like that choice to bring this over here to slow down this push, to buy more time to get these Banelings ready. 5 of them on the way. Notice how he runs the Lings over just to force Byun back for a second, then retreats with them. He never wants them to actually be in the fight long term. The Spore will eventually go down. Oh, he gets away with it very narrowly there. The Widowmine hit here is immaculate, but it's not enough because there's too many Queens here.
Yeah, very decent Widowmine hit. A last-second split there from Rogue did minimalize the damage a little bit, but at least he holds it off, and he is going to hold on to pretty much everything, only losing, you know, maybe a Queen and some Lings, and that's a very solid hold. Now he's ahead in upgrades. He's got this third base up and running. He's already up to 66 drones, and already an infestation pit on the way.
He will, for a long period of time, be a cycle of upgrades ahead once his finish, because not only does he have his 2-2 started before the 1-1 finishes, but Byun's armory isn't even done yet. So before he can even start 2-2, he has to have that armory set. He does have that third base saturated now. He can afford the upgrades once the armory is done. He's powering up a bunch more barracks. He also still has a larger army than Rogue's and needs to continue to use this for pressure. But Rogue has this incredible economy. He droned up so hard. He really held that, you know, by kind of like the last thread of what he could have done, but because his positioning was so good, he was able to greedily hold that, now take a fourth base. His creep spread, again, not thick, but extended.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Rogue's playstyle. I mean, we've identified it by this point. He's just a little bit greedy in the early game, you know, but if he gets away with it, he's going to get to that very strong ZVT late game, but even further ahead. He's going to be ahead in upgrades, he's going to be ahead in tech, and he's going to smash the Terran once it comes to the late game. Especially now on this map, there's really not that much pressure here for Byun. You know, he's cleaning up some of the creep. We saw him do a lot of that against Dark as well. But he's not getting, you know, significant damage. He's not getting a big hit on the drones. He's not sniping an Evo Chamber, delaying some upgrades. You know, the game is not over by any means. Byun is, I'd say he's a little bit behind here. And especially if he can get that fourth base in the middle and get it up to a planetary, he can definitely, you know, get up to 3-3, try to survive against the Ultralists in the late game. And we'll see how it goes on from here and how Byun wants to play this.
Yeah. Clearing up this creep very, very well right now and really hitting his macro in full strides. Part of the reason why he's so ahead in supply is because Rogue has pulled up a decent amount of money. He wants to get his Hive tech up. As soon as that Hive finishes, he's going to grab the Ultralist Cavern and he's going to start spending his money on that. So again, he's trying to hold with making as few units as possible. He's being very greedy here. But if he does hold, you know, it's going to turn into a big advantage for him. So when you look at the supplies, obviously you know that Byun has a large army, but that's intentional by Rogue. He's trying to save his money. He's trying to get these Ultras out without making Speed Banes.
Notice that
it's too late, though. He has to make Speed Banes now.
Yeah, notice that he also didn't make those 3 safe infestors. Does not have that for this fight. Going to rely only on the Banelings on the
Oh my god, all the Banelings disappeared. He still has a few left here. Nice
the Observer's worst nightmare, missing that hit. About 10 kills, only 1 on the other one, but looked pretty big before the camera did shift angles, and more Banelings on the way here for the defense.
He needs to defend this push specifically right here. Byun will break his back if he doesn't, but the creep just enough here, and he defends. Now his Ultralist Cavern is complete. He did all of this with his 2-2 armor before Byun's 2-2 finish because his upgrades were faster, like I was talking about before. His Ultralist Cavern's done. He has a lot of money to make Ultras with. He immediately goes into Kaitinas plating. Like he's got 300 gas left over after starting a drill, and that's 12 Banes and Kaitinas plating. And so if he just holds off this next one, the Ultras are going to be out, and Byun is going to have some trouble, just like he did versus Dark. Okay, Widowmine's in position here. Bane's actually pretty well split, in fact. And just force him back, and it's okay if he doesn't kill Ultramarines with these. He gets a decent amount there, actually. A bit of a mistake by Byun, but all he really wants is to survive for those ultras to come out. 3 of them on the way.
And he's surviving very well. You know, you said it very well. He took a couple of fights where he was ahead a whole set of upgrades, and that really just helped him survive very greedily for a very long time. Now Adrenal Gland's going to finish up. Rogue continuously just pushing him all very, very far away from the creep. And, you know, he doesn't overextend. He just pushes him, buys a lot of time for him to morph more and more Banes. And now he has bought that time. The first Ultralisk comes out. He's not going to have Chitinous Plating here for about 20 seconds. Yeah, but, you know, these Widow Mines aren't going to care about that either anyways. He's avoids those shots, but he's really building up that Ultra's count. Okay, about to pop out right now are 3 of them. This one Ultra. Staying alive, not taking too much damage. There's the Chitinous Plating you were talking about. Now, I like this move a lot. Draw Rogue into different locations. He's starting to hit that hatchery. It's very low.
Oh, the Transfuses just barely saved the hatchery. And that would have been a huge snipe, taking Rogue down to 2 bases had he done that.
Not only does he save the hatchery, but he kills a lot of this Terran army. If he had only saved the hatch, but not killed that army, perhaps without the transfused energy, he might not have been able to keep those Ultras alive, but he did both.
Yeah.
And Byun is playing the style where he never makes a 4th CC. Soon he's going to be lifting his main. And if he doesn't start killing these Ultras, the Ultras count's already at 4, about to be 5. And we're really looking at a very powerful late game here for Rogue, more so than Byun's. He's got 3-3 on the way. I think it's nearly completed now, but he's not able to pressure any further than just the edge of this creep. Okay, this is nice. Grabs a cancel here. Oh, these Widow Mine hits, some of them are just on point.
Yeah. I have to say, Rogue has kind of been ignoring the Widow Mines before. You know, in all those fights that we had earlier on, he kind of just like runs on through, and he just has so much stuff, and he's right on top of the Terran that does a bit of damage to the Terran army as well. One thing that our observer very smartly pointed out is that Rogue has not been remaking Overlords, so he's actually supply blocked here at 166, 166. He did just make 1 Overlord, but this is 12 minutes into the game. He definitely does need to make some more Overlords to make sure he can make some more of these units. Doesn't want to be supply blocked this late.
Definitely not. This hatch is sniped this time without a cancel, and again, 14 more kills on that Widow Mine. The Widow Mine's getting these kills on Lings doesn't matter money-wise, but what it does matter is for Larva. Obviously, every time you lose this many Lings, you have to replace them, which costs a lot of Larva. He still has 25 on the map right now. And he's hitting his injects really well, but something to keep in mind when you're going for this heavy Ling style with the Ultras. You do need that Larva. You don't want to be throwing those units away for free. Byun finally denying that 5th base multiple times, just getting him back in this game. He's got enough economy himself as well to make quadruple Liberators, and Rogue is just now starting to kind of respond to that. His Fire finish, his 9 Corruptors on the way, but it's going to be tough now to engage against this Terran army with all this Liberator support if they're sieged up correctly. And as you can see, he's starting to edge through this creep, again going towards that 4th base, which is still partially damaged from that last engagement.
I don't believe that Rogue ever went for the 3-3 upgrades, did he?
No, he did not.
There we go. Observer on point, thinking the same thing as me, because we're going to have 3-3 versus 2-2 for a very long time, because the 3-3 is not even started for the Zerg. He's just been focusing on making as many units as possible, maxing out, you know, making sure he has the answer to everything that the Terran has first. Maybe now he'll begin to start it, but at the same time, he needs to build a bank. So it's really hard at this point in time to find the right, you know, the precise time where it's okay to go for these upgrades because he's forgone them for so long.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, he's using all of his resources all the time to keep making these Banelings, keep making these Lings. The Ultras are never dying, and he's got 8 of them, so he doesn't really need to make any more of those right now. Well, that's plenty of Ultras, but he needs to make sure he can protect them against these Liberators. That's where these Corruptors come in. Already sniping a medevac here, going on top of these Liberators with the Corruptors for a moment there. Oh, these guys came back at the worst possible time. He's actually just going to commit to this fight. He has a ton of Corruptors here to fight these Liberators, but there's Widow Mines here as well. This feels like a suicidal attack.
There's nothing to do with the bio. I feel like he kind of just thought, you know, he had to engage. He was kind of caught out there. He needs more Banelings to deal with this bio. A lot of the Ultras do get sniped out, only 2 left over.
Oh, doing so much damage over here to this 5th base economy as well. The Corruptors did eat a huge Widow Mine hit, which means they're not going to be able to tank as much Marine fire in these fights. And as I said before, Byun normally doesn't take a 4th with this style, but he actually made a 4th CC, and it's also being morphed into a Planetary right now, so he has that to fall back on once he kills this base. Corruptor's going to get 1 more Liberator, but he's using this one. Oh my god, not in Liberation mode, just in the anti-air mode. Widow Mine shot is beautiful. He's finally going to get his 4th, or will he? 4 health left!
Unbelievable. And he begins to engage once again, but there's barely any Queens to support the Ultras. Is it going to be enough, though?
hey, you know, doesn't have that many units on the ground here anymore, but his ground army itself was also heavily damaged. As one Ultra is coming from the right side of the map again, who's probably going to get caught here. His Widowmine's at least still on cooldown. And still even army supplies. That Hatch is alive with 14 health. He should finally kill it.
Not for long. I mean, he's definitely just going to step up there and just attack it. Oh,
Will he?
Rogue.
I mean, this is actually insane.
Okay, click
Finally
it. There you
goes
go, man. He does snipe that.
This base isn't mining, by the way, and all the drones he just transferred over are being killed.
3 Marines. You know, Rogue has just been so split in his focus trying to stop this push, this parade push that always happens on this map, King Saedum Station.
No cancel, and he has no money. He can't really even make drones right now. He's got less than 100 minerals at this moment in time as he's desperately trying to get Banelings out to defend. This massive commitment to Corruptors isn't going to help him hold off the ground attacks.
Man,
he has nothing to deal with this.
The 3 Marines have been the bane of his existence at that base. He lost this one. He's barely mining minerals, and that just may be the end of it here.
I think it will be. Good micro here finally at the end of things from Byun into the Widowmine field. These Corruptors are going to get obliterated, and Byun will take this series. Rogue looks to be dropping out of this group without a single win. Oh man, look at all the Corruptors go down. He now doubles his supply, cleans her off creep over here.
He's
the Marines
still not
wipe this
mining.
base. Yeah.
19 drones at that base have been killed. And he was even trying to use his useless Corruptors to bait Widowmine hits into the bio of Byun. That's how desperate he is at this point in time.
Well, GG. That's where Rogue's career for 2016 comes to an end. And Byun will advance to have one more shot here in the rematch.
Yeah, kind of a disappointing series here for Rogue, and a disappointing showing here in the group, but it's kind of what we expected. You know, not the most consistent play out of Rogue towards the end of 2016. He will get out in last place, but more importantly, Byun will survive to face off against Zest in that final match to decide who's going to get out of this group in second place.
And he has that second opportunity now. He looked so crushed after losing to Zest the first time. And, you know, I really personally feel Byun's best matchup is his TVP. And I think if he can just kind of, as we like to jokingly say in Korea, grab his mental. I think
gotta grab it.
I think he can do this. And I do feel like he is favored as he was before. Zest had a lot of momentum until he was annihilated and destroyed by a foreign pro who got out of the group 4-0 without dropping a single map. So I think the momentum now is in Byun's favor. He defeated Rogue, knocked him out of this tournament easily, and he knows Zest just got crushed too.
It'll be interesting to see where Zest's mental is at as well going into this one, getting destroyed by Neve, but going into his strongest matchup as well in PVT. The rematch, guys, in the final match will come after a short commercial break. Stay tuned.